How to solo travel across the United States. Traveling solo through the United States can expose you to great culture, great food, and a diverse range of people. You will also get a chance to see the different landscapes of America, from deserts to beaches to national monuments and parks. You may decide to travel solo as a challenge to yourself, to see the US on your own, or as a way to meet new people on the journey. Once you have planned and packed for the trip, you should focus on staying safe and having fun on your solo trip across the country. Part 1: Planning the trip. 1. Make a budget for the trip. You should determine how much money you plan to spend on your trip. As a solo traveler, you want to be sure you have enough money during your travels as well as emergency money set aside in the event you need it. You may break down your budget by day, or week by week, depending on how long you are planning to travel. Take stock of your savings and determine how much you can afford to spend on the trip. For example, you may plan to spend $50 a day, including accommodations, food, and entertainment. This may be ideal if you are planning to travel for at least a month to 2 months and do not want to spend over $5,000 total. With this budget, you may plan to spend around $1,000 total on accommodations, $1,500 on food costs, $500 on gas and public transportation, $500 on entertainment, and keep $500 for an emergency fund. Doing things like cooking for yourself and eating out sporadically can help you stay within your budget. You can also opt for the cheapest accommodations you can find to save money. 2. Research different routes or areas of the country. Do your research into different roads you can drive on that will take you through different cities or areas in the US. You may have a specific area you want to spend some time in, such as the Bible Belt or the Pacific Northwest. You may then factor these areas into your route. Spend some time deciding where you want to travel to so you have a rough idea of your destinations. If you are driving in a car solo, remember that 2-digit highways go directly through cities and 3-digit roads go around them. Odd-numbered highways run north to south, while even-numbered highways run east to west. You can also try following I-roads such as I-95 to get to certain destinations more quickly. You may try including roads off of I-roads for more scenic views from the road as well. 3. Determine your mode of transportation. Perhaps the biggest decision you will have to make about your trip, besides where to go, is how you are going to get around. You may decide to drive across the United States in your car or in a rental car. Or you may opt for flying into the US and then taking buses and other public transportation around the country. Think about which mode of transportation would be the most comfortable and convenient for you. Keep in mind it will take about 2 months to drive across the US and perhaps longer if you are taking buses or public transportation. You may decide to go with the transportation option that fits your window of time so you can spend a good amount of time seeing the sights. You may also decide to travel by train through the United States. You could look up different train routes through parts of the US as well as rates for traveling by rail online to determine if this is a good option for you. As a solo traveler, you may want to consider other options before resorting to hitchhiking across the US, as it can be risky. If you have hitchhiked solo before and are comfortable doing this, you may go with this option as a way to save money and to meet new people. 4. Decide where you're going to stay. You should think about whether you plan to stay in hotels or hostels when you are traveling. Hostels and couchsurfing, where you stay on people's couches for little to no money, may be ideal if you are trying to save money or are on a tight budget for the trip. Or you may opt for a rental service where you book a room in someone's home or have the whole place to yourself. Figure out your accommodations beforehand so you know where you are going to rest your head during your trip. If you really want to save money on accommodations, you may decide to camp during your trip. Depending on where you camp, you may need to pay a tent fee. Another option is to sleep in your car if you are driving across the United States. However, it's always a good idea to have a backup accommodation in the event of a storm or bad weather. 5. Create an itinerary. Once you have determined most of the planning for the trip, sit down and draw up a day-by-day itinerary. Map out your planned route and note your accommodations for each night of the trip. Try to be detailed about your route so you have a guide you can follow once you start on your trip. For example, you may write, Day 1, depart from home with full tank of gas, head to New York City. Stay the night at a hostel. As a safety precaution, you may decide to share your itinerary with family members or friends so they know what you are planning to do and where you are planning to be day by day. This may be useful in the event they are trying to locate you while you are traveling or in the event of an emergency. Part 2. Packing for the trip. 1. Make a packing list. As part of your preparation for the trip, you should make a packing list. If you are planning to drive your own car across the U.S., you may make the packing list with your car in mind. Consider how much stuff you can fit in your car and how much stuff you need to bring with you. Often, packing light with only the bare essentials can make traveling solo much easier. For example, if you plan to stay in hostels or hotels, you should pack a light backpack with all of your essentials, including clothing, toiletries, phone charger, identification, laptop computer, and your wallet. You may also pack a smaller backpack that you can use to carry your stuff while you are out, leaving your backpack locked up in the hostel or hotel. Make sure you bring cookware and sleeping gear if you plan to camp or stay in your car overnight. You may pack a sleeping bag, a tent, and camping cookware so you can prepare meals on the road. 2. Get a US SIM card for your cell phone. To ensure you can stay in communication with loved ones back home, consider buying a cheap SIM card for your phone so you can use it in the United States. Many SIM cards in the US are pretty affordable. It's also a good idea to have a cell phone when you are traveling alone in case of emergency. You can also use the SIM card to contact loved ones at home by getting international data on the phone. This way, loved ones can call you through Skype or FaceTime at a very affordable rate. 3. Bring copies of your identification. You should also make photocopies of your identification, such as your passport and your proof of citizenship card, and bring them with you in your backpack. You may stash copies in different pockets of your bag and in a travel coat so you have them in the event you lose your identification or it is stolen. You should also keep your passport and other identification in a safe place when you travel, such as a money belt or a bag with a secret pocket that you keep on you at all times. 4. Decide how you are going to carry money on the trip. Will you use a credit card or a debit card during your solo trip? Will you use cash as well as cards? If you have an international credit card, you may decide to use it to pay for things like accommodations and entertainment. You may then set aside cash for food, as you may end up eating in spots that only take cash. Or you may rely on a US debit card to pay for things on the trip. You may consider getting a travel credit card, which will give you points for every dollar you spend and make it easier to pay by credit card as you travel. Part 3. Doing fun things on the trip. 1. Find free things to do at the state or city welcome center. If you aren't sure what to do or what to see in an area, look for the local welcome center. They are often located in the downtown core of the city or on the main city street. You can ask the representative at the center about free fun things to do in the area and pick up a city map. This may be a good option if you do not have a clear plan for that day and are looking for something to do in a town or city. While you're at the welcome center, you should inquire about buying a city pass. Most major U.S. cities will have city passes where you can access public transit and museums for a low price. 2. Take a guided tour. One way to get a good sense of an area is to take a guided tour. You may be able to find free or very cheap guided tours for cities you are in by searching online or by asking a representative at the Welcome Center. Guided tours are great for learning more about the city and for walking around in interesting areas of the city. You may find a tour that is short, around 2 hours, or go for a longer tour, which can be around 4 hours. Factor in your budget and make sure you do not spend too much on the tour, as walking around a city on your own is always a free option. 3. Explore national state parks. Another great thing to do when you are traveling through the U.S. is to explore the national state parks in each state. You may opt for buying a National Park Pass, which gives you access to over 59 state parks for $80. Or you may choose a few state parks as part of your trip itinerary and go on a hike or walk through the park. Keep in mind it is risky to hike solo. You may try talking to people at your hostel or hotel to see if you can get a group together to go hiking through a state park. 4. Chat up the locals. Americans are known to be friendly people. You may find strangers on the street saying, "Hello" or "How are you?" Embrace the friendliness of the people and chat up locals at a bar or in a public park. Get to know the locals and ask them about their favorite things to do in the area, as well as their favorite spots for eating and having fun. As a solo traveler, you may feel shy or uncomfortable with chatting someone up. One option is to talk to people staying at the same hostel or hotel as you as a way to get to know someone else. You can also talk to your hosts at the hostel or at the homestay and ask them for advice on what to see. Part 4. Staying safe on the trip. 1. Find a temporary travel buddy. As a solo traveler, you should take steps to travel safely on your own. One option is to find a temporary travel buddy at your hostel or your hotel and agree to travel through an area together. Once you are both done with your stay, you may part ways or agree to try to meet up again on another leg of your trip. This is a good way to travel with a friend for a short period of time. Chat up people in your hostel and find a temporary travel friend by asking, "Anyone going on a guided tour of the city today?" or "What you up to today? Want to explore together?" 2. Avoid walking outside alone at night. Another precaution you can take is avoiding late-night walks outside alone. Though you may think you are safe in a city or town on your own, walking around alone at night can put you at risk. Try to walk with a group or another person late at night, even if it's just to your car or to your hostel. You should also be alert and aware of your surroundings during the day. Do not leave your belongings unattended and keep your bag close to you at all times. Stay sharp and avoid any areas that seem risky or deserted, especially as a solo traveler. 3. Stay in contact with friends and family back home. Try to stay in constant contact with loved ones back home so they know where you are and what you are doing. You may have a daily email check-in with your parents where you let them know you arrived safely and fill them in on your plans for the day. Or you may call your best friend back home a few times a week, so let them know you are safe and sound. You may also get in the habit of letting someone know where you are heading if you are going there alone. For example, you may let the front desk at the hostel know you are going to explore a certain area of the city that day. Or you may text a friend and let them know you are going to check out an area on your own, so they know where you are.